Oh, good evening, everyone, and fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. Hang on, real quick. I'm texting. My co-conspirator in the ancient art of photographing people's houses. Shrug. Well, I was going to do that, but now I'm not. Which is okay. I don't mind. I have honey roasted peanuts. There we go. Another thing, I just kind of want to scratch, scratch, and think things out. All right. There's no music again. Low five. I don't know. I just like that. I kind of like using stick felt pen. I'm so horrible about this. So the primary machines of the Unity don't use music to fly their mecha. So their mecha are not as dedicated and powerful, and not as prevalent. But there is like one or two which are semi convertible. Hey, David. How you doing, my brother? That's good. Good to hear. Well, getting by. I actually am feeling a whole lot better. World's a little bit better. You know how that goes. One day at a time. Yeah, something. I mean, here I am drawing robots, so I guess things aren't bad. They aren't too bad. They're, we are who we are. Yeah. Really should also start warming up for Saturday. We've got like something we're doing and I can't. It's going to be a thing. So probably should think about that. We'll get to that in a second. I find the social media verse to be weird. Like, we keep having people show up and they're like, hey, what you doing? Well, I'm doing this, that, and the other thing. And then there's silence. I mean, I'm not talking about you, David. I'm talking about like yesterday we had this person show up, which was cool. And they asked what we were doing and they asked what the comic was about. And I told them, and then I never heard from them again. And then I looked them up and they were offline. They just like, it was like, what you doing? Oh, okay, thanks. Click, leave. It's just so weird. It's like, right? I'm kind of liking this design. Nope. All right. I feel like that does not describe this angle correctly. All right. That describes that angle better. Try to get this side view here. No. So Can now works a job where he's got to be up at 4 a.m. to report to duty. So until his schedule, they've been scheduling him. They needed him so badly that they've been scheduling him 6 days a week with 1 day off, and it was random. So for the time being, it's just me. Yeah. No. Hey, Alfie. How you doing today? Bye, Alfie. At least you were here for a minute. Okay, Kat. I'm just going to sit here and draw robots until you show up because that's pretty much what I do in my life. These things make me happy, so I'm all good. It's fine. It's all fine. It's not a problem. I appreciate you showing up. I don't know for sure. I mean, I thought he said he was working at the local Wendy's, but I'm not sure about that. Good evening, Brent. I didn't have a morning show this morning. That's why you missed it. I was shooting a house, which I have to go do tomorrow morning as well. So there's that. Today was drone, and tomorrow um, is the actual house stuff. Right? Ammo type is CF card. For some reason, I always love dragging gear. I'm not exactly sure why or what my infatuation with it is, but I absolutely love when landing gear drags. Just the nose gear, though. Oh, yes, I could take the mains. And have them drag too. Yeah, this week or this week. No. Oh wait, that's not this weekend. It's next weekend. Yes. you're talking about Fort Collins Comic Con, right? So you're talking about FC3. You're not talking about the comic club that I still attend. I am also doing the Comic Con, yes. I feel like that heel piece needs to be moved at an angle, maybe. This is an observation vessel, so it's not heavily armored because it's fast. That's the point. I'm just thinking through the logistics of this. No. Which I do not, in fact, want the liquefy tool out here. I'm okay, thank you. I really like drawing machines. I really like drawing transform machines too. I am who I am. There we go. Give it some running lights. Like most things in the world of Bellatrix Rising, and relies more heavily on just having blunt force thrust than it does lift. So it doesn't really need to worry too terrible much about lift. But might as well use it when we can, so there's no real reason not to. This little fusion reactor inside there is more than capable of pushing enough just brute force thrust. connector for a utility radar dish or utility top dish, depending on what it needs. This thing is loaded with sensors inside the cockpit, outside the cockpit. There's quite a few of those, and operable controls. Oh, it doesn't have a runner. These fold backwards. I should also show the kneecap and buckling forward just for the purposes of just observing that it actually does this. So that there's room for since it's chicken walking and it's walking with a chicken-like maneuver, it needs to be able to be functional so that joint can move forward. Yeah, it's got a Rio back there, but I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with that Rio. Just thinking through its mechanics here. This is a bit sort of like this. No, this. That'd be fun. And this guy turns around. Just like that. Hey, David, you going to be at Fort Collins? Nah. There. That's fair. Okay, now that I've done this, at least I've locked the logistics out. Blocked the logistics out. Move you over here. And we're going to see whether Cat can make it. Not yet. Still not hearing you. You're still not transmitting either. Ad Astra. Progress spam. Yep, figured that was going to happen. They'll be back. Ish. 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 I don't know. I don't know, cat. I don't know. Oh, Long Johnson. Are you back, Alfie? Hello, Alfie. Welcome back. You had to go home from school. A whole lot of connect and then go home and then that kind of stuff. I figured. Yeah. Well, doing better than Cat is. Cat's having problems getting connected, which is kind of a bummer. I feel like the air intakes on these should be. So? Okay, go shopping. We'll see you later. Thank you for joining us today, though. Always a pleasure to see you. Heyo? I see Restream saying heyo. Which is kind of funny because that's a remarkably cat thing to say. There we go. That looks much more like it.
Okay.
Now
is it working?
Look at you being here.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hellos?
I can hear you just fine.
Oh my goodness. What is going on?
Can you not hear me? Am I not broadcasting? I'm broadcasting. Am I broadcasting?
Okay, I see the green now. What is going on my end? Let's see.
Sounds like headphones.
Okay. I can finally hear you now. Wow, okay. That was an adventure.
Yep, an adventure in trying to connect.
Oh my gosh. Well, like, I tried 3 different devices, and you saw me come in like 3 different times.
Yeah, I did.
Nothing was working. Nothing. And like, gosh, today has been a day. And like, I'm here to have a good time because the rest of my day hasn't been very good. So let's have a great time today. How is everybody?
I was about to say, I'm just going to sit here and draw because drawing makes me happy. And I'm drawing spaceships.
Me too. I'm having a day. I just need to do something for fun. Because, like...
Sounds fair to me.
Today, today was one of those days I wanted to like go run out in the woods and never come back.
Oh yeah.
Just like
Except what would happen to Miso?
exactly.
Miso.
You guys better thank me, so that's the only reason I'm here.
Some
Crazy. Yeah.
Some days.
Someday I just want to go run out into the woods and become a mythical creature of legend that people used to scare their children into behaving properly. Oof. So, what I'm working on today, friends, is redesigning my characters.
There you go.
The bane of my existence. I hate drawing characters.
You'd rather be drawing robots? Because we could draw robots if you want.
Robots are characters. I'd rather be drawing rocks.
I see. You're like, robots still count as characters, man.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm sitting here going, wee!
I'd rather just draw rocks, to be completely honest. But no! I have to redraw characters!
It is fascinating how different we all are.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to draw rocks. I'd rather draw robots.
Rocks and trees and other natural. Yes, Cat.
Things like that.
Natural is definitely a word.
So totally a word.
That's just how my day has been. Yeah,
I mean, I hate doing that kind of stuff so much that I actually have like a bunch of zipatones that I bought from Joyful Honda when I was there, so that I don't have to do those. I just add them in later.
Yeah. Oh man, when I was at San Diego, I wanted to go buy a bunch of screen tones because Copic was there. I wanted to go buy screen tones so badly, and I didn't. Oh, like yeah. Thanks for reminding me. I gotta turn my destination on. I should do that.
You should do that. How you doing, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while.
Oof.
Hope all's good and you're a part of the world. This leg goes back quite a bit. So, back to here.
Gotta edit that.
And so far, Cats actually made it here, and it only took like a lot of effort.
Yeah, couldn't figure and it was showing me. I just couldn't get the freaking audio to work.
Yep, or video for that matter. I don't know. I couldn't see your video feed either.
Oh, really? Okay, then it was just everything, just being
just
like
everything.
It's not today.
Yep. But now you're here, and all is good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm drawing robots, which makes me happy. So you know,
nice.
That's the thing.
There we go. Okay, cool. All right, channel content.
Just
all
been
right.
busy.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with
same.
being busy, man. Nothing wrong with being busy.
Yeah, busy is good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna make sure my data is correct for that video. I forgot to edit it before I turned on the destination.
Hey, Missing Wolf. Yeah, right? Robots are kick butt.
Yeah. Alright, cool. Alright, looks like I edited the data properly. Awesome. Yeah, now I can actually get back to streaming regularly. Yes. Hey Misting, what's up? How are things going for you? Now that I'm finally back from Comic-Con, I can stream again. And I'm not super tired. Although we're having to test because it turns out some of our associates have tested positive for COVID, so we're doing that. We get to go through our slew of tests.
Zoids.
Zoids? What about Zoids? Oh yeah, Zoids is awesome. I remember that.
Man, Zoids. Man, those things were the best.
Those were cool. Did you see the revamp of the anime? It looked like they were making and all the models and stuff.
Yeah. There was a There was a glorious era there where, that mid to late 80s, Robotech had come out and sort of struck the world a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. So, Misting, are you having storms? Because you having storms because like it's storming here. It's just storming everywhere. The world.
It's really cloudy here. We're gonna get storms later.
Yeah, it's storming now here.
Thanks, guys, sending us your storms.
I know, right? I'm just sending them your way.
Thanks.
I'm spinning up Discord so that I can see what Neon did.
Oh yeah, that's what I was working on.
So yeah, I mean, like we had that era where we had Zoids and we had, all the kind of, there we go, all those wonderful, beautiful things that were just so great. I'm out on the duck pond. Wow. Can I share that, Neon? Bring that up on the main screens. All right, let's do
it. Let's see.
It's
Ooh,
super big now.
Wow, that was awesome. What a nice background.
Yeah, the backgrounds are sweet.
Yeah. Well, ooh, I like that lighting in that third panel there.
I know, right? Check that out.
It looks wonderful, Neon. Should be proud of that.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do like a good coloring and good lighting, and you definitely got it on both ends.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. It's you got me beat.
Oh hey guys, look, go ahead and make that bigger. Like
which bigger? Oh.
Like make me small. Yeah, make me small so we can see it.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, I stay in black and white for this very reason.
Same. Same.
This is because
it looks really good.
This is hard to do.
Color is tough.
This is a difficult thing to do. That's why
Yeah,
I stay
it's really
fully
tough.
in black and white. It looks lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Good job. I mean, not patronizingly, but
Yeah, mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, mood and atmosphere is important.
Agreed.
For sure. Just working on redoing my character designs at the request of the editors and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, character design.
Link to the teasers. I'm following up on Misting about the things that were in during the middle of that golden era, that beautiful era of robots. Because we had the Great Mazinger, we had
Macross,
and we had Orcus, which came out at that same era too, and of course, the big guys, the big guns. Gundam was in that era too. But you also got the gorgeous spaceships. We got Yamato,
Outlaw Star.
Yeah, Outlaw Star and stuff like that. So,
actually, guy, do you want to know what I saw when I was at Comic-Con and I almost got for you, but I didn't because I money. A beautiful Macross art book by Udon. they have this absolutely gorgeous art book. And when I looked at it, I thought, holy shit, guy would love to have that.
You know what? I
So
love
I
what you're thinking.
figured
That's
awesome. I would tell you about it instead.
Right.
It was beautiful book, absolutely gorgeous book. And if I had the $80 for it, I would have gotten it for you.
I appreciate the thought. Thank you.
Yeah, you should definitely. I think you would definitely, because I got to like pick it up and like flip through it. It was really cool. So
Mikimoto is my god.
I know
like,
that's
Shoji
that's why-
Kawamori and Haruhiko Mikimoto. Those are the guys. Those are the guys that all of my stuff is based off of that. Like, I am super inspired by it.
Yeah, that's why I saw it. I was like, oh my god, I have to at least tell Guy about this book because I think he would probably want it.
Oh man, Macross is just the thing for me. That's home base.
Yeah.
Whenever I feel like weird or whatever, I'll just watch Macross. Like, because that's totally like, I can do that. You know, I get that. It all makes sense to me. The world makes sense whenever I'm watching Macross.
Mm-hmm. There was also this really, really cool vendor that was selling like really, really old like art books.
Nice.
It was called Anime Coast, and the miso stay out of the ranch dress. You're such a ranch dressing fiend. I can't trust you around it.
Yep.
Goodness. Anyway, they had a the anime manga of Princess Mononoke in Japanese. They had a lot of Japanese books. Mm-hmm. And then I can't read it. I was dumb and didn't open the book to see if it had foodie on it because it doesn't. But it's essays about the making of I'm brain derping on the English word Mononoke Hime.
Oh yeah, like, Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, Princess Mononoke. I was like, what does Hime mean? I forgot.
Right.
Yeah, like it's like an entire book just full of essays about Princess Mononoke. And I'm so sad that I don't have the skill to read it yet. I'm so distraught because I thought, oh, it'll have hooting on it in it, and it doesn't.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh shit, this book that I can't even read, and so now I'm gonna have to go line by line and translate it, or see if I can find an English translated version of it online somewhere.
Right. That's awesome.
But it's really, really cool. I just happened to I was walking past the booth. And I happened to see the Animanga Volume 1, which is really cool. Like, it's fun for practice. Like, to practice reading and learning words. Because it's basically, I mean, it's the movie, and they just have the script. They have the script put in for the bubbles. So it's cool for me to, like, read it, and I can listen to the movie at the same time, and I can kind of, like, get the script. But I also have the storyboard, so I know what the script is.
Right.
So... I mean, it's in Japanese, but I can actually like see it right now. So it's really cool to like compare that to the script, or to compare the anime manga to the storyboards that I have. Just really cool because I like that part. Like that's the kind of stuff I'd like to be able to do. But of course, since it's anime manga, it's like they can't redraw the panels.
Yeah.
To make it work. So it's curious to see how they made something that's a movie made it work for manga. So that was really cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. And then I asked the vendor, I'm like, do you have anything else that's Princess Mononoke? And they said, oh, I don't know. Let me call my wife. She knows the Ghibli stuff. Yeah, anime manga. So it's they take the anime and then they make manga from the anime.
Right. They're called photo books.
Oh, is that what the technical term is?
Well, that's what they call them. Photo books.
Oh, photo books.
Yeah. So I think animanga probably is the better term, but I
think that's what Viz uses.
I
think that's what Viz uses because I used to have an Inuyasha version, and so I think that's what they called it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I got the term.
So yeah, and to misting Ryo-oki. Yep. So that's the who's that? That's the ship. Oh, he takes a chomp out of Mihoshi's gun.
Mhm.
Mihoshi. Mihoshi was my favorite character from Tenchi. So loved Mihoshi. So yeah, Misting, if you ever get the opportunity to catch up on Macross, start with Washu. Yeah, Dr. Washu. Yes. Yeah, she was just insane. I have like random weird. I don't know. It seems like I have like a scan of a cell from Washu. Anyway, but yeah. Yep. If you can ever get Macross, I highly recommend Macross the movie, the first one, because the TV series, of course, was what came out in the 80s, and it's lower quality because it was an 80s TV series. Macross the movie was a movie. Even though it came out in 85, it's still pretty solid today. Still looks beautiful, still looks good. So, highly recommend that. And then if you can, then you can move on from there. There's a whole thing about Macross that's just crazy. I mean, because it's hard to follow what's going on with Macross all the time because of the fact that it's Macross is so Harmony Gold bought the rights to Macross and Southern Cross and a show called Genesis Climber Most Piata, and they merged them all together to make Robotech and rewrote the scripts and dubbed them differently so the people were saying different lines and stuff like that.
Is that what Robotech is? Because I heard them mentioned a lot at San Diego this year.
Yeah. So
Oh.
there is a big thing going on right now with Big West and Harmony Gold. And there is a rights fight that's going on right now, and it's one of those things.
Oh, I see.
So, anyway, the long and the short of it is, in 1985, Carl Masek and crew from Harmony Gold bought the rights to Macross, Southern Cross, and Genesis Climber Most Piata. And the only thing, that's provisional. The only thing that related those three series together was that they were all done by Tatsunoko Studios. Nothing else about them was the same. They were just three totally different stories. And so they stripped them of all of their audio and redubbed them so that they all were the same story by referring to other characters and other series, even though the other characters were never together. And they made the Robotech saga, which is 70 some odd episodes of Robotech, which is these three completely unrelated shows. So it'd be kind of like if somebody bought Sailor Moon and oh man, I just lost it. I can see it in my head.
Like made their own version of the Sailor Scouts.
Yeah, like they bought Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura and then redubbed them so that they were referring to each other. So,
interesting.
Like kind of that kind of thing, because we kind of have magical girls, so they kind of match. So we'll just take Sailor Moon episode or season 1 of Sailor Moon and then season 1 of Cardcaptor Sakura and then rewrite them, and that's kind of what happened. The 80s were really wild because back then Japanese anime was so cheap on the market that and they just ended up buying the rights wholesale, so they'd end up with all of the rights. Well, okay. Macross was actually stupidly popular in Japan. People really liked Macross. And so Macross then got spin-offs in Japan. Well, those spin-offs didn't refer to anything that happened in Robotech. So, because Robotech was 3 separate series that were glued together. So in Japan, they're holding true to the original story of Macross, which is only season 1 of Robotech. And then they're going out in all these different directions. So the Macross series is this long-running series that's been going on for a while now with these different versions. Because after Macross was Macross 2, and then after Macross 2, we got Macross Plus, then Macross 7, and then we got Macross Delta, Macross Frontier. All of these, that's no problem. All of these different series are all following off of only the first season that Robotech used. That same first season. Meanwhile, here in the States, Robotech has become popular, and people are talking about all the bits and pieces of Robotech. And so they added another series on called Sentinels, which was actually done as an extension of the Macross saga in America. Well, this all happened during the 90s when anime was finally coming around. Right. So anime was starting to get its own now. And with Sailor Moon was the last and the first. So it was the last one to get the bad dub and the first one to get the good dub. If that makes sense.
I remember that. Yeah.
By the time Sailor Moon aired, they were airing it on TV, and there was an epic backlash, and they were not ready for it because it was done by DIC, which is a Canadian group of they just do children's shows. So they took it and stripped it of anything that might be offensive to kids, and put it out with all.
You mean offensive to adults?
Right. So they put all these changes in it, and the anime fans, which now exist, which didn't exist in the 80s, but they did, but not in force. The anime fans now then really jumped down their throats on it. And so from that point forward, we ended up with these side groups. Animego was making subtitles only. So they were making legitimate subtitled anime. And we got US renditions, which was dubbing and trying to actually ADR it correctly with the actual script. And then you ended up with like Spawn groups that started to show up on this. Well, now we have this world of Robotech and Macross. The two of them have only the first 30 episodes are the same. Everything after those first 30 episodes are completely different in those two worlds. Like radically different. And that was part of what is going on now, and why you were just hearing about this now was because for the last 30 years, Harmony Gold has banned Macross from coming overseas. They have kept Big West locked out of the US, and Big West wants to come over here with Macross, which is a hot property, and a hot property here in America, because there are Macross nuts, yours truly. I'm a fan of both, but to me, it's like the old version of Battlestar Galactica and the new version of Battlestar Galactica. They're roughly the same.
Do you think that has anything to do with the art book? Because the art book looked relatively new. Like the art looked relatively new. It didn't look like old art.
I know. Oh yeah, well, that's part of the problem. Macross Frontier just ended, and we got, what's the new one? It has the Draken. It's not Delta, because I think Delta was after Frontier, because Frontier was on when I was in Japan. I got to watch Macross live, and I was so excited. I was like,
right, but that's what I'm saying. Do you think that they are starting to win that fight if a company like Udon is putting out their book?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying, is that what happened was last year they technically buried the hatchet, but they actually didn't. What they ended up doing was Harmony Gold boopily bopped the thing so that you cannot refer to anything that Harmony Gold has used in Robotech, but you can but Big West can release anything else. The problem is Minmay is a core character in that first season, and all of the idols after Minmay refer to Minmay. So that pretty much still locks all of Macross out. But I guess they can release books because there's no video.
So sort of they're kind of slyly getting away with it.
Yeah. So it's not what. See, I'm. This is one of those things that I have literally been watching this fight since the 80s, because I was in the old school anime clubs back then, and we, that was what happened to me. Is I'd found Robotech at Blockbuster and rented it and said, "Oh my god, this is the coolest thing that ever existed." And my buddies at school said, "We have a fan sub of the movie." And I was like, "There was a movie? Oh my god." And so I watched the movie and was completely blown away. And then they were like, "Well, if you like this, there's this club called Die here in Denver, and they meet on the fourth Saturday at this bank, and it's in the basement of this bank."
What's a bank?
Yeah, I mean, this is where we were in 1991.
It's amazing.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's where anime was. And I went to the bank in 1991, went to the basement, and they had all these VCRs wired together, and they just had this one TV, this big TV, which was a tube.
Oh, I remember you talking about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
You never said it was in a bank, though.
It was in the bottom of. So I don't know if it's the old Vectra Bank that's on Federal and Florida.
Oh, okay.
Used to be up the street or down the street. If you went down the street from there was a little video place called Creative Video, and they were Japanese, and they were just importing tapes from Japan. Somebody in Japan was recording all these tapes and mailing them over, and Creative Video was giving them to the Japanese community so that the Japanese community could watch what was going on in Japan.
Amazing.
Well, they were also snagging anime. So the anime club would go down there on Saturdays and rent all their anime and then play it and then dub it and then give it back their tapes.
Amazing.
They knew we were doing that, so they were cool with it, But this era was really strange for us. We had two guys in the Die group that had actually gone to Japan and joined ArtMech. And so, like, two of our guys were actually over there painting cells and stuff. And it was, like,
so cool.
really weird. Because, like, they would come back every so often. And, and then they would be like, yeah, this is what's going on now. And I don't know if you know Jan Scott Fraser.
No.
Most everybody knows Jan Scott Fraser.
I know who they are, but I don't know them.
Yeah. But, yeah, well, and Jan Scott Fraser was one of those, too. So part of the Denver group. And they went over to Japan and they were working there. And they worked there until the cell side of anime gave up. And then they came back here. And that's, now they're here in Denver again, which that's their home, so that makes some sense. But yeah, that's the story. It's a kind of a long, arduous story. I long for those days sometimes. I'm like, I kind of miss those days. I don't know where I'm going to put these wings. I think I know what I'm doing.
It was really cool. I always love when you give your history spiels.
I'm glad you enjoy it. I feel kind of awkward sometimes. I'm like, oh, I really shouldn't be going on like this so much.
No, like that's how like the newer generation, like people like me, like that's how we learn this stuff is when people who were there when I wasn't able to get into any of this stuff because like remember my mom and my family were really against this kind of stuff, so I wasn't really able to learn it, and I didn't really like have the funds either at the like when I was younger. I didn't really like my first anime was in 2005, 2006, and it was Yu Yu Hakusho. So like, and I only was able to watch it because my friend had the box set. So, all the anime and manga that I got, I had to like sneak into my house or
Right.
and like borrow from my friends. It's like I didn't really have a lot of exposure to it. And 2008, 2000, mid 2000s is pretty late for getting
Yeah.
into anime and manga. So I'm like really still pretty far behind on
Right.
everything.
Yeah, it was a different environment,
Hmm.
which I, in some ways I miss it and in others I don't. You know, it's kind of nice. I just recently re-upped on Crunchyroll and now I've got Crunchyroll again and it's kind of cool to go, "Oh, okay, well, here's where we are on Crunchyroll. Gotcha." You know, like that's kind of cool.
Club Studio lets you export transparent GIFs now.
We can do transparent GIFs.
Yes,
Nice.
with the 2.1 version they just released. There's also a simple mode for tablets now, apparently.
Wait a minute, we couldn't do transparent before? Oh, I guess we couldn't save it as
Nope.
GIF. Gotcha.
You could save as a GIF, but it couldn't be transparent.
Interesting.
Now we can do that. Thank Jesus. I was looking at having to get Photoshop just for that, or GIMP, and I didn't want to have to get it just for that.
Yeah, there was a discussion one of my buddies online was making about Adobe, and somebody was defending it, Adobe's subscription model, and saying, well, I mean, their subscription model made a lot of people have access to Photoshop. And then I said, I have had to have Creative Cloud for 15 years now. If you do the math on that one, I have paid $9,000 to Adobe.
Yeah.
I only use 4 programs. So that's $2,500 ish a piece.
Yeah.
$2,400 a piece.
Mhm. Yeah. I remember back when in 2016 they were still no, it wasn't 2016. It was 2008. They still had the CS2 version, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like you paid like $500 to $700, and you got the master suite forever. That was it.
Yeah.
And so every time they upgraded, I just paid like the upgrade price. And that was it. So
Yeah.
like I didn't have to pay again. And then when my computer died
Hi,
on me,
Michael.
hi Michael, when my like motherboard crashed, I had to get it. I had to have them deactivate my code for me
Right.
so that I could reinstall it on my new computer. Oh, sorry, we don't support CS6 anymore.
Right.
And I'm like, I've paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because I have to have the master suite to have all the programs that I need for what I do. And you're now telling me that I now have to pay $90 a month to you to keep my access? F this. So that's why I went to Clip Studio.
I want to address Michael's question.
Yeah, please, sorry, please do.
So, transparent GIFs are usually we use them mostly for animation, and that's actually one of the things that people use them the most for. But the thing is that the GIF format and the PNG format both have an alpha channel, which it's transparent. So, but PNGs can't be animated. GIFs can be animated. So the big benefit to this is now we can make a little animation of a character bouncing around or jumping around or doing a thing here in Clip. And part of this is because we are all mad about Adobe, and I want to dump Adobe so bad, but I can't because of the nature of the beast. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like I have to keep paying for Adobe. It makes me so mad.
Yeah.
So, but that's what we use the transparent GIFs for.
Yeah, it's for like, especially with web. Like I use it for like when I was making my own website or when I was on DeviantArt and I was customizing my profile, I would use like transparent GIFs, so that I could, like make it look nice. And sometimes it's nice to not have to have a background. That way you can put it literally anywhere you want and it just looks cute and adorable. So it's I use it mostly to like customize different web pages. That's what I used it for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And also for video editing, I used it for a lot of like when I was editing videos, I could have like a fun little like transparent GIF in my overlay, for streaming as well. So now I can do that. Now I can make a fun little GIF of like my character flying across the screen every once in a while just for the lulz, and it'll look good. Miso, are you mad at me because I'm ignoring you? Yeah.
I hope that answers your question, Michael. Did you want us to show you an example? I don't know if I have an example. It's ready, but...
Yeah, I don't have any examples at the moment.
But yeah, actually just having this discussion with my friend online, and, he's like, the problem is we're starting to see some of the key issues with capitalism, and that is that once they find a model that works, everybody jumps on it, and the new model that works is subscriptions, and now it means that you've got 700 subscriptions for $5 and you're paying like $4,000 a month on just subscriptions now, just because everybody needs a subscription. Everybody wants it. And I get that. It's crowdsourcing on a grand scale. The problem, of course, is that the people who came up with crowdsourcing were us little guys with our Patreons, which was wonderful. But now so many people have so many subscriptions, they have to give up on our Patreons. And here we are again. Our artists are back to we don't get any money.
Right, but the problem with Psy is back, like initially Psy did not support CMYK, and the original Psy couldn't support like the file that I'm drawing in now, its file size. Psy could not support this. It's too big for Psy. Like even just one page, like not even a double page spread, just one single page at the size that I draw, it was too small for Psy. So between the CMYK thing and it being too small, like it not being powerful enough to handle the file size that I needed, I couldn't use Psy. I did use Psy for a little bit for like commissions and stuff that didn't require like a page, like a specific page size. And I had to use that specific page size to prepare for print. So, but Psy is beautiful. I do love Psy. I think Psy 2 fixed both of those problems, so Psy 2 is pretty nice. But I like something that is made for making manga and comics. Psy is not. Even though it has a lot of really cool, like its watercolor brush, I still think it's better than Clip Studios, personally. But maybe I haven't found the right watercolor brush. Let's see. I want to dump Adobe also, but I need certain things Adobe does. Like Photoshop, I need to reduce the picture size by the thousandth place of a decimal. Oh, yeah. Clip Studios only up to hundreds. Yeah.
Irene's tractor. What does that mean?
That's fair. Yeah, and that's ultimately the thing, is it's just kind of like, what do you need it for? I don't know why you would need something down to thousandths of a decimal place unless it's like industrial stuff. Like, I've never heard of someone needing thousands of a decimal place before. That's just my ignorance. So what kind of like work do you need that kind of thing for?
Because I don't know.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. So I'm really curious. Like what? Like I know in my previous job, I need what I needed it for. Like in my previous job, I had to go down to thousands of a decimal place as well. But I think it would be really funny if we were doing like similar jobs, because I did fabrication, and so cutting like plastic or metal, you do have to go down to sometimes the thousandths of an inch. So I can relate to that on some level, but I'm not sure if it's like the same type of job that I did before. 21,000 by 8,600. Well, let's see what I'm working at now. Let's see. Let's see. Story. And this is my normal working. I think. Oh, I don't know. This might not be my normal working page size. Let me see. What, Miso? You literally just jumped down to jump back up again.
I know that kid.
Wow, I do similar work, making pages, and I've never had to go down to thousands of an inch before. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that's really, really big. As far as like pixel size goes. All right. Currently, I'm working at. I work on 2-page spreads, so I'm sitting at just. I don't even know. Okay, I would need to double that. I can't math at this hour.
I have that problem all the time. I can't math ever. This hour notwithstanding.
I usually can. Oh, I did that wrong. You're actually working you're working out larger than I am, actually. So I work at normal for. Oh, I'll type it out. Miso, this is why I don't like you sitting in my lap while I'm working, because now I can't use my keyboard. That's where I work at. Six point 6.625? No, that's not unusual. Not. Oh, well, oh, sorry, I see what you. Oh, for comic pages. Yeah, that is, sorry. My brain just was like, 0.625 isn't that weird. But it is. Yeah. Yeah, that's the size that I work at for my 2-page spreads. That doesn't count my, like, the nodal space. That doesn't count that area. That doesn't count the center area here. Which is maybe, like, another 100, or a couple hundred, like, about 50 pixels. Oh, sorry, millimeters. About another 50 millimeters. So... yeah, that's about what I'm working at. If you do the conversions, that's about what I work at. I think it's like 10 point something by like 15 or 16 by something. It works out to be about the same proportions, but I am making manga, not comics, so I use like manga size, which is very, very similar, but not quite. I think it's B4. I think. Let me double check.
I've got a conversion for you, Michael. If you want that, I can do that for you. Hang on real quick.
Yeah, I work
I
at
have converters for
B4. Nice. Yeah, I work at B4 at 600 DPI, basically. Miso, you're sitting in my lap again, you crazy cat, you. Oh, let me fix. Okay, gotta see what all these layers are and merge them. They hate having 50 million layers.
Yeah. So if you want to see what a manga page at converts, these are the conversions for manga pages. So at 600 DPI, the width is 137 millimeters to the outside bleed. So the red part bleed, then this is your gutter, your safe, your text safe, and then this is your inside working zone. I'll make myself the big one for just a moment here.
Go for it.
And then, so this is, you can screen cap it or whatever. I'm okay with any of these, but that works to kind of give what everything should be. So if you want to make pages that look like manga pages, you make them at this resolution at 600 DPI, and then you can just, and then like it says here, text size ends up being about 6 point. Then your gutters will be 4 millimeters for horizontal and 2 millimeters for vertical. You have to remember that gutters are standardized in American comics, and they are totally, the verticals are different than the horizontals in manga. And it's to dictate which way you read the manga. Because it tells you which way it's supposed to be read. Yep. So the speech bubbles end up being at 8 point. Your line width ends up being at 10 point. So that'll give you roughly what a manga page should look like. Now, if you wish to do a conversion, where did I put that conversion? Not here. Where did I put it? I had this thing open and it went nowhere. Oh, I see what happened. Let me look for it again. Dang it. I'm like, open, and then I did the thing, and I'm like, that's great, but I need all of these pages, guys. So if you want to convert it to an 11 by 17 page, this is what it looks like. So like if you were to make it 11 by 17 or 8.5 by 11 in this case, whichever way you want to do it, this would be then the resolution, and the scale would be 133% changed. So you'd bring it up 133, but you still could do the manga pages in here, and then you just get these extra gutters on the top and the bottom, like this and like this. Right, and then the US comic page, if you want to talk about just what the US pages are set at, the US page then has all this information on it. So the width is about 6.88 inches, and the height's 10.44 and that's all the way to the end of your bleed. The bleed for US comics are really, really small compared to what manga's bleed is. And then our width for the gutters to the safe is 6.63 inches. So that's the inside here. And then the inside area, safe area. You guys know what a text safe is, right? So text safe. So the text safe means that you don't put anything important outside of this dark gray area. No speech bubbles, no text. You can make your art go off of there, but you don't put any of the text bubbles past that line. And that's called a text safe. So this is then your bleed, and then this is your full bleed out on this red area out there. And you don't put anything you don't mind getting cut away in this red bar on the outside, because of
it probably will be. Yeah,
it could get cut in the cutting process.
Yeah.
What I will do is in a few minutes, I'll just post all of these up to the Discord server. So you guys can just download them from the Discord server. And you can use those because they're already set to the right size. So if you just use them as they are, they'll run in the background.
Mm-hmm.
A new audio? No, I don't want a new audio device. Leave it alone.
It's always good to assume that your printer will mess up because they probably they can't make perfect cuts. And I don't mean to say that printers are really bad. It's like assume that they won't be able to make a perfect cut because it's really really difficult to make a perfect cut.
Yeah.
So it's always going to shift a little bit. So that's why they have that bleed area and the trim line preset, because you need to make sure that if you were to lose a few millimeters or part of an inch on either side, your art will still look good. Otherwise you're going to get that's why you have to take, if you have art that fills the page, you have to take it past the bleed line, because otherwise you may have that really thin white line on the side of your pages, and that looks really bad. It makes it look like you couldn't plan in advance, or your printer was just that bad.
Right.
It looks bad on you, and you don't want that. So either stop panels at the safe area, the safe zone, or you can take it all the way past the bleed when you're making manga. It's one of the two. There is no either or.
Yep. I just posted the Discord invite. Going ahead, and if you have not joined our Discord channel, please feel free to. It's called the Duck Pond because this is Quack, and so that makes some sense. But I just added that to the Discord server. All three of those. So all three of those pages are now up on the Discord. So if you need them for anything. Hi. Sweet. Yep, there you go. And you can, I got to add my reaction, man. My reaction. Yeah, there we go. Because I'm the Trekkie, so I have to wave with the Vulcan salute. There we go. There you go. Yay! I don't mind a lurker. Nobody. Most of the time, what's on the Discord server is just all of us sharing our art, or me sharing important, things like this. Where I spent 2 whole days on those stupid pictures to make them straight, because I was driving myself crazy trying to make them fit. Because for me, of course, I'm doing this thing where I want my comics to physically exist, right? So I've got, why is my camera frozen?
Because it has to make make you work for it.
Right. Hang on real quick. I think I accidentally unplugged my camera. So
Hi, Miso. What, baby?
That help any? No. Camera
Sometimes
completely offline.
Is it like a Logitech? Sometimes I have to unplug and plug it back in, and then add it as a new source. Sometimes that's the only way I can reset mine. Sometimes it's so dumb.
Well, it's not even on. It's not giving me a light, which makes me worried. So I'll check its source real quick.
Yeah, sometimes adding it is fixes that.
There we go. I just needed to activate and deactivate it. Anyway.
Okay, cool.
So,
awesome.
What caused all of those pictures that I just put to the thing was I wanted to make physical copies, but they're of course going to be in US size. And so my US size comics need to be the correct ratio for US comics, but I make them in manga size. So I had to make all those converters. So I spent an entire freaking day on those converters. So you might as well, use them, because the more use we can get out of them, the better it is. That's all I gotta say.
Well, see, also a lot of times comic book stores they want your stuff to be a size that they're already capable of storing, and if they have like
Well,
a book that's like a different size, they may like that was the problem that I ran into when I was trying to find stores, is they kept telling me, oh, well, we don't have a shelf that fits manga, or like a rack that fits manga, so you'd have to make it comic book size. That was the problem that I kept running into, which was frustrating.
So, yeah, like what we've got kind of here is like the manga page, the first one that I gave you right there. That's what a manga page would be at 600 DPI. So it's not big because manga is smaller. That's not manga. In general, the size of mangas. Why is it like that? So back to what I was kind of saying before here. I mean, your manga size. This is what a tankobon comes across as, right? So, tankobon size is markedly different than the size of an American comic.
Yeah.
So we've got that's what you're seeing there is one is just this. Then another one is the second one is this enlarged so it fits on this.
Interesting.
So that it's blown up 133%. So that it's got the little bar on the top and on the bottom, so it's centered, but it's effectively just enlarged 133%. So that's what one of those reads. And then one of them is just US comic size by itself. So if you're doing US comics at 600 DPI, it's that resolution. So you have to be careful with that hybrid one. The hybrid one is enlarged 133%. I hope that made some sense. However, I went through American Comics and measured the text size and measured the gutters and measured everything in there so that you can get an accurate reading on all of that. And then I went to manga and did the same thing. And then that hybrid one is all of those things, but blown up 133%. So that should make some sense, I think. I don't know. I hope that helps. I hope I didn't just like really mess up everybody's world.
I think it's important to be aware of those things, you know, especially if you're wanting to be put in local bookstores. You gotta know what your sizes are because the stores are gonna ask.
Yeah. So, and you are of course welcome. Let's save this as. Because we are now at the end of our show, and I have yet another shoot to do tomorrow morning.
Busy. Turning out very good.
So, yep. Good night, David. Good night, Neon. It was good to have all you guys here. Good night, Michael. It was good to have you here too. Good night, Misting.
Yep, take it easy, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us tonight. And, you know, I know that we only had, like, Alfie was here, but Alfie vanished like twice. So, there will be no day show tomorrow morning because, of course, I'm going out on a shoot and I'm going to be shooting a house. So, there will be a night show as normal. So, we should be doing fine. Or at least I hope there'll be a night show. We'll see.
If not, if you can't, then I will. I just can't do day stuff because work. So
that's totally cool.
Yeah, totally if I have to host tomorrow's night show, I can.
Okay, cool. That would give me some time. We have a Star Trek-a-thon tomorrow night that we're going to try to do, but I don't know when it will start, and I'm not sure when it will end. And
Mm-hmm.
And I like Star Trek a whole lot. I know you're surprised, you're shocked, but it's true. So,
Yeah, you showed me how to get everything started, so hopefully, if it comes to it, I can
that'd be awesome.
launch the show by myself tomorrow. I can do my best.
That's fine. Cool. Well, good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And as always, I always say, keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.
Good night.